Last class, we have seen NFAs with epsilon transitions, and today we are going to discuss about the family of languages accepted by NFAs with epsilon transitions. So, what class of languages is accepted by NFA with epsilon transitions? We know that the presence of epsilon transitions make it easy for a designer to design a finite state machine. But the question is the presence of epsilon transitions make the machine more powerful? In other words, can we have an NFA with epsilon transitions for a language for which there is no NFA or DFA? If that is the case, that means some non-regular languages can be generated by an NFA with epsilon transitions. But the answer is no. That means the class of languages accepted by NFA with epsilon transitions is regular. And we can have this claim: NFA with the epsilon transitions and DFA are equivalent in power for accepting languages. That means for every NFA with epsilon transitions, there exists a DFA, and for every DFA, there exists an NFA with epsilon transition, such that their languages are same. How we can prove this claim? We can prove it using two subclaims. The first one is that for every NFA A, there exists an NFA with epsilon transitions B such that their languages are same. Now, the second claim is that for every NFA with epsilon transitions A, there exists a DFA B such that their languages are same. So, claim 2 enables us to get a DFA accepting the same language from a given NFA with epsilon transitions. Now, we already know that from a given DFA, we can have an NFA. And then the claim 1 tells us that from an NFA, you can have an NFA with the epsilon transitions. And hence, proof of the claims 1 and 2 is enough to prove the main claim. And the claim is that NFA with epsilon transitions and DFA are equivalent in power. And a corollary for this claim is that the class of languages accepted by the family of NFA with epsilon transitions is regular. So now we have three different kinds of finite state automata for accepting regular languages, and they are deterministic finite state automata, non-deterministic finite state automata, and non-deterministic finite state automata with epsilon transitions. And all these three are equivalent in power. And it remains us to prove subclaims 1 and 2. So how can you prove subclaim 1? So we need to prove that for every NFA A, there exists an NFA with epsilon transitions B such that their languages are same. And this proof is trivial. Every NFA can be viewed as an NFA with epsilon transitions and hence proved. For example, suppose this NFA is given. You can assume that you are adding self loops for epsilon. So now epsilon transitions are added, and this you can do for any NFA, and these epsilon transitions are not going to change the language accepted. So you are now getting an NFA with epsilon transitions, and hence the proof is done. So this is a trivial case, and now it remains us to prove subclaim 2, which is a difficult one. We need to prove that for every NFA with epsilon transitions, there exists a DFA said that their languages are same. Similar to the proof that we did for the similar claim for NFA and DFA, here again we are going to use a constructive proof. That means we are going to discuss how an equivalent DFA can be defined in terms of the Q1 NFA with epsilon transitions. We can try to understand the definition by considering an example. Here the figure shows an NFA with epsilon transitions. This is in fact the NFA for accepting all strings such that the second last symbol is either A or B. Okay, the language is not so important, and here we need to see how can we construct a DFA from this NFA with epsilon transitions. And for that, maybe we can try to understand using an input ABAB. So ABAB is an input. Only one start state is there, so we need to process the input from the start state. So we are in the start state. Okay, so what is the first input symbol to process? It is small letter A. So you need to see to which all state you can reach for on an A. So you can reach into 0. This is the self loop. Okay, 0 by taking the edge A. So this is the edge label. In the right side, I am showing the edge label in the NFA with epsilon transition. So I can reach into 0. Can I reach into any other states by processing the input symbol A? So I am processing only the first input symbol A. I reached into 0. Is there any other possibility? From 0, can I reach into any other states? The answer is yes. I can reach into states 1 and 4. How can I reach? First I do an A transition. I do this transition. Then without consuming an input, I can do this transition or this transition. If I do this transition, I get into 1. And if I do this transition, I get into 4. So that is why I wrote it as I first do an A transition and then an epsilon transition. So what I consumed is only A. So by consuming A, I can also come into these two states. So 1 and 4 are there. Okay, so by consuming the input, the first input symbol, I can reach into any one of these 3 states. Can I reach into any other state from the start state by processing the first input symbol A? The answer is yes. I can also reach into 5. How can I reach? Initially, you don't process your input and just take the epsilon transition and come into the state 4. From there, you process the first input symbol, you come to 5. So what I did is, first I took this epsilon transition and then I took this A transition. So what I consumed is just A. So by consuming A, these are the 4 states to which I can reach. Hope you got it. And now you can see this is the set of states to which I can reach by reading the first symbol A. Now from there, from this set of states, I need to process the next symbol, which is B. So first try to do it from 0. From 0, by processing B, I can reach into 0. This is the self loop. That is by just traversing this B edge. Then similarly, what I can do is, I can first do this B edge and then I can take this epsilon edges. Okay, so what I consume is just B, but I can reach into 1 and 4 similarly. And then after that, what I can do is, I can take this epsilon transition and then this B transition. Then again, what I am consuming is only B. So I can reach into any of these 4 states from the state 0. Okay, and these are the states to which I can reach from 0. And now from 1, there is a transition to 2. So I can reach into 2 also. And the transition is just B transition. And now from 4, there is no transition. And from 5, there is a B transition going to 6. So I can reach into 6 also. So remember, now we just processed the first 2 symbols from the input and we reached into this set of states. And now continue, we are in this set of states, and now we have to see from each one of these states where I can move on the next symbol, which is A. We already know that from 0, if I process A, I can reach into 0, 1, 4 and 5. This is what I can do from here. From 0, we already know that we can reach into all these states. That's what I do. Okay, then from 1, can I move on A? No, there is no transition. But from 4, there is an A transition which is going to 5. Okay, then from 2, there is an A transition going to 3. And from 6, there is no outgoing transition. So now we process the first 3 simples and we reached into this set of states. So meaning that there are actually 5 paths for ABA ending in these states. Okay, now we have to process one more simple. The first one is B. We have to process B from 0. B from 0 means I can reach into 0, 1, 4 and 5 because we already found it. So I can reach into 0, 1, 4 and 2. From 1 on a B, I can reach into 2. From 4 on a B, I don't have any move. But from 5 on a B, I can reach into 6. And from 3, there is no outgoing transition. So these are the set of states to which I can reach when I process the input string ABAB from the start state. And this means that there are actually 5 paths, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 paths reaching into these corresponding states from the start state. And the path you can see, this is one path going like this, second path, third path, fourth path. And to this state there are 2 paths. Okay, if you want you can see it. So this is what it is doing. Very similar to what we saw for NFA and DFA. Here again we can observe that when we process an input simple, we are reaching into a subset of states from the given NFA with epsilon transition. And from there we are going into another subset of states. So we can view it as from the first state, which is just set 0. On A, I am going into the subset 0, 1, 4, 5. From there, I am going on B, I am going into 0, 1, 4, 0, 1, 2, 4, 6. 0, 1, 2, 4, 6. From there on an A, I am going into 0, 1, 3, 4, 5. And from there on a B, I am going into 0, 1, 2, 4, 6. So this is the path which is generated by this input string on the given NFA with epsilon transition. So we observed that the states in the required DFA is going to be the subset of states in the given NFA with epsilon transitions. That means very similar to the construction that we had for constructing our DFA from NFA. Here again we can have a subset construction for constructing our DFA from an NFA with epsilon transitions. Now for that we can try how can we define the transition function small delta for the required DFA. Let us start from the start state. Now we have only one start state here. So initially to start with we have to start from the state 0. Now the question is what should be the transition function for the required DFA from this, that is small delta, from the state set 0 on an A. Okay, we saw that from 0 by traversing this self loop you can go into 0. Okay, so how this 0 is obtained? By traversing this set, that means delta, capital delta of 0 comma A. That is what I did. This is capital delta of 0 comma A is 0. That is what I got. Okay, now we also saw that what we can do is we can first do this self loop and then we can take this epsilon transitions and we can reach into 1 and 4. So what we did is first we did the self loop and then we applied the epsilon transition. Mathematically you can write it as first you do the epsilon A transition, that is the self loop, and from that state you do epsilon transition. You can do either this transition or this transition. So in this set you will get 1 and 4. Okay, and then what we can do is we can first do this epsilon transition, then this A transition, then we will get into 5. If you remember what we did, initially we did an epsilon transition from the start state, this epsilon transition, and then from that state we did an A transition. And not that epsilon is a string, and that is why whenever I do an epsilon transition I write it as delta cap, and delta cap was defined in a previous lecture. Okay, that's it. And there is one more state to which you can reach, and that is 7. How will you reach into 7? What you do is first you do an epsilon transition, then this A transition, and then again the epsilon transition. So what you processed from the input is only this A, but you managed to reach into 7. Okay, so you can also reach into 7. So what we did is initially we did an epsilon transition, from that state, that is state 4, we did an A transition and you came into 5, and from that state what you did is you did an epsilon transition. Hope you followed it, otherwise please watch it again, and it is not difficult to understand. And these are the different possibilities to get into new states from a given state in the N of A with epsilon transition. You can just do the transition for the simple. You can also do like this. First do the transition for the simple and take all the epsilon edges. That is the second one. Third one is first do epsilon transition and then take the transition for the simple. That is the third one. And the fourth type is first do an epsilon transition, then you do the transition for the next input simple, and then you reach into maximum possible states through epsilon transitions, and that is this. And now the question is, from the start state in the DFA we are coming to this subset of states. Now the question is, how will you define the deterministic transition function for this subset of states? This is exactly this formula which we have to apply. Now this formula is for only the state 0. Now we have to do this for all the states in this subset. So you can write it as, for all the states Q in this subset, you do this thing. Here in this formula, I just replace this 0 by Q. For each Q in this set of states, you collect all these states. So you are getting the next set of states which are reachable. You can, if you verify, you can see that you will reach into all these set of states, and from there you will reach into this subset of states, etc. And so now we got a method to define the DFA, and it is very similar to the definition of DFA from an N of A. Here the only difference is that the presence of epsilon transitions makes it a little tricky. And now by using this example, we have all the different possibilities, and there are 4 ways in which you can reach. By directly taking the edge labeled as the next input symbol, or initially taking the edge with the input symbol and then take all the epsilon transitions, or you first do epsilon transition and then take the input symbol transition, or you first do an epsilon transition and then you do an input symbol transition, and after that again you do epsilon transitions. Okay, these are the various ways, and this is enough to define a DFA from an N of A with epsilon transitions. Now let me tell you how can you do it formally. Let A is equal to Q capital delta capital S capital F be an N of A with epsilon transitions over an alpha set sigma union epsilon. Not that the N of A will be having epsilon transitions, and that is why I said it is the set of all input simples union set epsilon, because you can have epsilon transitions as well. Then the equivalent DFA, meaning generating the same language, B, can be defined as this quadruple, where all these elements are different. Q, here it is Q prime, capital delta it is small delta. The definition of small delta we observed from the previous slide, and the single start state small s, and the new set of final states F prime. And we know that now Q prime is the set of all subset of Q. Same as what we did for DFA construction for N of A. Then what is the start state? Small s. In the case of N of A, it was just the capital S. But in this case, it is going to be the set of all start states in the given N of A with epsilon transition, set union, the set of all states to which you can reach from the set of start state by taking the epsilon transition. You know that epsilon transition means without consuming an input simple, you can reach into those states. That means all those have to be a part of the new start state, which is a subset of states. Okay, this is how you define it. And now is the most tricky thing, which is the transition function, which anyway we have defined from a set of state A on an input simple A to which all states you can reach, that we have defined actually. You say from A, you first collect all the states that you can reach by directly taking the edge for A. Another way is, first you take edge for A and then you take epsilon transitions. You will collect a set of other states. And the third way is, first you do an epsilon transition from the set of states, and then from all those states to which you reach, you do an A transition. And the last option is, first you take epsilon transitions and you reach into a number of states. From all those states, you do A transitions and you will get into a large number of states. And from the large number of states, you do epsilon transitions to all possible states. And now you are collecting all the states to which you can reach on an A from a set of states. This is exactly what we observed in the previous slide. If you want, you can go back and observe that what we are doing here is exactly same what we did in the previous example. And the last component to define is the set of final states. And what's it? A state is final. Here you know that a state in the DFA is a subset of states in the N of A. And a subset of states, which is a state in the DFA, is said to be final if that subset contains at least one final state from the given N of A with epsilon transition. So this definition is exactly same as that of the DFA definition from an N of A. The only differences are here in these two cases, and that we discussed. And here the inclusion of these sets of state is intuitive, because if this is the case, that means without consuming an input simple, I can reach into these set of states. Then all those states has to be input states for such an N of A, and hence we need it. And with this, we are finishing the formal definition of the DFA from a given N of A with epsilon transitions. And we can prove the correctness of this construction by using a completeness and soundness theorem, and we can do it by mathematical induction. And if you are interested in, please go and do the proof by using the method of mathematical induction. And with that, I am moving to the last slide in this lecture, where I am giving you an assignment. The assignment is, this is the same example we try to develop the deterministic transition function, and the question is, obtain the equivalent DFA from this N of A with epsilon transition. You just apply this procedure and see what DFA you are getting. So in this class, we have seen how we can formally define a DFA from an N of A with epsilon transitions. And we also saw that getting an N of A with epsilon transition from an N of A is also trivial. And hence, we proved that the class of languages accepted by the family of N of A's with epsilon transitions is regular. And with this, we are stopping this lecture. Thank you.